An ammonia leak yesterday morning in Boise had people sheltering and businesses evacuating, including a local homeless shelter downtown. Jude Binkley talked to staff at that shelter about how they evacuated people from both inside and from the streets. Jude?
Well, Morgan, the ammonia leak around 15th Street under the I-84 connector in downtown Boise. Businesses within a half-mile of the leak had to close, and Boise Fire put out a code red alert telling residents to shelter in place.
Our curiosity was, if the gas leak was outside, why did we remove 153 people to the street? Why was it not safer to keep them in the building and shut the air conditioner systems off?
The area around the leak included Interfaith Sanctuary, a homeless shelter that currently houses 153 people. Boise Fire asked most residents around the area to shelter in place and close their doors and windows. Some businesses were also evacuated. Interfaith said that a fire crew on the scene told them to evacuate and move to Julia Davis Park.
For a homeless shelter, that's a lot of different kind of guests with a lot of mobility issues and things like that. And so basically, we had to figure out how to get people in wheelchairs and people who were on walkers, along with everyone else, out of a building, and then we didn't know to where.
Interfaith had 5 staff on site to relocate its residents. They also worked to evacuate the homeless population living on the streets at Cooper Court.
People all over the streets, they just pushed them out to the streets. And less than a half a block away from where I was when I got blasted in the face with the smell, there's people, and they're just like, what are we supposed to do?
Our guests that are not inside the shelter or inside Corpus, they're actually in Cooper Court and in the very vicinity where the gas leak was, and it just didn't feel safe.
Interfaith loaded vans with people to get them to safety. They were able to take people to the park, library, and a shelter at a nearby hotel. Many of the homeless were in wheelchairs or had mobility issues.
Very stressful, because in the back of your head, there's like a panic feeling like I need to get these people out fast, but there's nothing I can do about the lack of availability of transporting those with the wheelchairs.
Interfaith says they're unhappy with the lack of communication and planning from Boise Fire and BPD, who were in charge of the scene.
It was total chaos and really no clarity. Like, there was no one who was coming and saying like, all clear, it's safe to be here. There was like a message that went out through the system, through dispatch, that said at this point it was safe to return into your businesses. But then we didn't know what to do for people who are unsheltered and actually out on the street. We didn't know what safety meant for them. And so we did make some calls to try and get some information, and no one really knew how to direct us.
Boise Fire and police gave KTVB a statement about the response. They said for any evacuation recommendations, people are asked to evacuate the area, not any building. They also said they weren't contacted by Interfaith, but would be happy to assist them with their evacuation plans.
This is a good opportunity to go and sit with city staff and kind of come up with a plan, like if an evacuation has to happen within this core, where do we transport to? Where is the location? How do we get resources to that area? We're going to take this as a big learning lesson.
Now, we got some reports that there was also a cleanup around the homeless area on Cooper Court yesterday. BPD told me cleanups are to remove things like trash, discarded items, drugs, and tents from that area due to them being a public safety concern. However, that cleanup was already scheduled in advance by BPD, and they're a regular occurrence around that area, and police do give warnings about it. The cleanup was pushed from the morning to the afternoon, but the timing of it was just a coincidence.
All right, Jude. Yeah, unfortunate that something like this had to happen in order for change to be effected, but appreciate you following up. Thanks.